Hundreds of people still out of their homes this morning as a fire burns in a Toronto condo building for a 7th day.
This is the material, which is combustible particle board that was placed between an expansion joint. That is causing us the problem. And access to getting to this is next to impossible for our crews, and we have been trying everything.
That is Toronto Fire Chief Jim Jessup showing that particle board that is right now burning in the wall connecting 2 condos in Thorncliffe Park. Chief Jessup says he hasn't seen a fire this complex in his decades-long career. For more on the efforts to put out this fire, get people back in their homes, we're joined by Mark Green. He's a professor of civil engineering at Queen's University, who is an expert in fire engineering. Great to have your insights on the show this morning. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it. And yes, certainly it is a terrible situation for all those people who are displaced by this extremely rare situation.
Well, I can't imagine being out of your home for a week, especially this time of year. This fire is not creating any flames, which is what we're used to seeing when we hear apartment fires. Chief Jessup comparing it to a slow burning cigar. So I'm pulling on your expertise here. Why is this fire so challenging to put out? Explain the circumstances for people who might not know.
Yes, I think that is the great difference that we see here, that it is what we call a smoldering fire that can burn with very little oxygen. It just needs a little bit of oxygen. And then the other part is that it is hidden behind the walls and the firefighters can't get access to it. So it keeps burning very, very slowly. And these types of smoldering fires are extremely difficult to put out. So I certainly understand why the fire service is having a great difficulty right now.
And not just any walls, these are cement walls, is my understanding. So you've got this slow burning particle board between 2 cement walls. The cause of this fire is still under investigation and hard to investigate when you can't get to the fire. How could something like this even start? What are some of the options?
I would imagine that it started somehow where that particle board is exposed, or perhaps there's wiring that was a problem that was adjacent to it that started a spark. It is really hard to know until we come, but that's just a couple of possibilities. And yes, being behind the concrete walls like that, the firefighters will probably have to bust through somehow in order to get access to extinguish it. So that takes a lot of time and may need specialized equipment to do so.
What about gases being trapped in that space? Because, you know, we're not seeing flames, but we know that fire releases CO2. So what is being released if it's not flames?
Yeah, you are correct there, that and that is probably what's more challenging with these smoldering fires is those noxious gases, carbon dioxide, and could be other gases as well that you have to be wary of. I think it is a good note for the importance of having carbon monoxide detectors in a home in general, et cetera, because smoldering fires, and they can happen in other circumstances, you know, aren't going to be noticed as quickly because they're not flaming and you don't see as much smoke. So it's really good to have those detectors in place to know that a problem is happening.
So Toronto fire crews have now pulled in, you know, people like yourself. They're speaking with engineers. They're trying to figure out how can they access this burning particle board to put this fire out, to figure out what caused it, and move to the next step. So what options are on the table for them?
Yes, I would think that they, you know, perhaps might have to use jackhammers or something like that to determine where, you know, where they can see some burning that is happening and some smoldering, and then try to get access to that, perhaps extinguish that portion, and then see where it is continuing.
And of course, the concern is structurally for this building. How does that affect the structural integrity of a building like this?
Certainly, one has to be concerned about the structural integrity. My sense is that it's not a huge issue in this case because because of the way the material is trapped, and it's not a structural material that's burning to my understanding, but of course needs some more details on site to be able to make such an assessment.
Professor Mark Green with Civil Engineering at Queen's University. We really appreciate you coming on, giving us the engineering perspective of what's happening. And as you rightly point out at the top of our conversation, the real thoughts, of course, are with the families who have been displaced and don't know when they're coming back into their homes. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. This has been a pleasure, and hopefully it's helpful.
It has been, thank you. We also requested an interview with Toronto Fire Chief Jim Jessup, but our request was declined. If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.